Hello everyone. It's been a while, but I'm back. I'm sorry that it took so long. I had some things I had to take care of, but I have a new Affinity video that I'd like to show you. And from now on, I'm going to try to have at least one or two videos a month. I don't want to overdo it because it was really getting to be quite a lot, but I still want to keep subscribers happy. So I have a new video I want to show you, but before I show you, I want to let you know that I am now also on Twitter, and I have a link in the description if you look down below. And this video is going to be why I prefer Affinity over Adobe, because there have been some people who asked me this question. So I wanted to put together some good explanations of why I prefer Affinity over Adobe. So let's take a look. Okay, so I have a one-page presentation to show you, but with a lot on it. Why Affinity over Adobe? Okay, well, first off, there is the pricing. Each Affinity application is $50 upfront. Okay, so why pay a monthly subscription for Adobe if you can pay a one-time price? Because when you pay for an Adobe application, it is $50 for each product, Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher once it comes out. All upgrades are free until version 2. Now, we are currently on Affinity 1.6, and that is for both Designer and Photo. And an Affinity staff member said after 1.9, we're going to have 1.10, 1.11, and it will keep going. And the first paid update will be 2.0, so we still have a long way ahead of us. Adobe Illustrator alone is $20.99 per month. Okay, so why pay that? Why pay monthly subscription on that price when you can pay $50 for Affinity once and up until version 2? Adobe does not offer free upgrades. Well, ain't that a bummer? 2. It is much faster. Adding effects do not involve a loading process. They are instant. So here's an example. Because I have all of these stars, I'm going to take a star and add an effect and then select the remaining stars, hold shift and select the rest of them. And now maybe I want to add a Gaussian blur to the stars. So I'm going to check it off and then add the radius. Now see how it's instant. With Adobe, I would get a little loading screen, and then I would wait and wait. And that was for CS6. I'm not sure about Creative Cloud if they updated it, but I would always get a little loading panel, and it was very aggravating. So I'm also going to add an outer glow, and I'll have the outer glow be blue, and bring the radius up. And again, it's instant. Loading complex files may appear a little slow, but Affinity works much smoother. Okay, now this is an old file I made in Adobe Illustrator, and anytime I opened it, it took forever to open because this is how big the file is, so it's a pretty large file. It took a long time to open in Illustrator. Let's see how long it takes in Designer. I do have to wait a little bit because it's a large file. Alright, and it opened well, and it doesn't look too compatible anymore because this file did accidentally get deleted, but I was able to recover it. But it opened really fast. So if you have a really complex file, I had a file that I made in Adobe Illustrator, and this was on both a Windows and a Mac computer. And it was so large that it took about 2 minutes to open, Here it would only take about 5 seconds. That's how much power Affinity has. Easier functionality. Smoother gradient control. Using the gradient tool in Affinity Designer is as easy as this. Just select an object, which is the sky, then take the gradient tool, it's called Fill Tool in Designer, and then just click and drag. Now I'm already on a blue, so it will take a lower shade of blue for the second node. Whereas using the gradient tool in Adobe Illustrator, you would have to select the gradient tool, then you'd have to go to the window, and it would appear as black and white. You have to choose what color you want to have, and then you'd go to each gradient point on the window, not the gradient itself, but on the window, and then you'd have to choose the colors manually. But here, I mean, you'd have to choose the colors through the window, but here you get to choose the colors manually. So maybe I want to have this end node be a purple. So I just select it and then bring up the purple. And maybe I want to have this be green. Oh, so I just added a new node by clicking. So I add a greenish. And this feels a lot nicer and a lot smoother. Smoother type on path functionality. Let's say you want to type on a path, so you would select a path, and then with the autistic text tool, you would place your cursor somewhere on the line, and then you would start typing. But I want to have this text be bigger, even bigger. Oh, and while this is selected, this node here, I can add it back if I want, when I can push it forward. And with Illustrator, again, it was very difficult adjusting the text. Now, even this, I mean, I did struggle a little, and I was trying to bring the text back. You can do it in Illustrator, but it was super sensitive, and you can, change the text like this, add new nodes to the text, add new nodes to the path. You can have it, you can kind of warp the text, and once you warp it, you can still type over it again, like hello, hello. So there's a lot you can do with a type on path. And again, it's a lot easier. The tools are well organized. Because I don't know the keyboard shortcut for Adobe, but I always struggled in just doing a simple flip rotate or flip vertical. I always right clicked and then go to transform, and then another panel opened up. Uh, and I'm sure there's a shortcut in doing that. I didn't know it. With Affinity, if you want to transform something, whether you flip horizontal or flip vertical, just select here, and then it's right over here. This is your transform area. So I want to say flip horizontal. So I just click it. Over here, flip vertical. So just click it. And then, okay, maybe I want to bring this behind this object. Okay, it would be right over here. So this is back one, there, and forward one. And now I thought, now where is the things that is equivalent to Illustrator's pathfinders, which are booleans, I believe they're called. Oh, okay, they're right over here. So bring this over here and select both objects, and now I'll say subtract. And it's very easy. Oh, let me change that a bit. Bring this just over one. Now subtract. So everything is organized in a place you would recognize. It's I find Affinity very easy to figure out, and I've been using Illustrator for either 6 or 7 years, and I still find it confusing. I do feel it's too bloated. They have too much. Real-time previews. Sampling fonts or pixels of pixel masks will show a preview of the finalized look. So let's say you erase a vector, and you take the eraser tool, and while you don't erase one of the pixels, you just hover your mouse over it, and you already see what it's going to look like. Or if you take a brush tool and hover over the erased region, you'll see what it will look like once you brush over it. The pencil tool shows the stroke as you draw it. Now, when you're drawing in Illustrator, you would see the line first. The line, yeah, you would see the outline first, and then you would see the stroke once you let go of the mouse. But if you're going to be drawing, then it's very intuitive. I'd like to see the stroke as you're drawing. So if you're, say you're coloring paper, you don't want to let go of the marker when you see the color. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't feel right. The gradient tool shows changes of gradients as you adjust the degree. When editing a gradient in Illustrator, it does not work in real time. So if you change the angle and have maybe the gradient map look like this, you have to release the mouse before the preview changes with it. See how I'm doing this and I'm not letting go of the mouse? The preview keeps changing, but with Illustrator, it will not change unless you let go of the mouse. So here, everything is instant. More precision. Absolutely. You can zoom in over 1,000,000%. With Adobe, I don't know for sure. I think, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I believe it was 2,400. But again, I don't know for sure because I've been using Affinity for a lot longer now. You can use brush stabilization to reduce shaky hands. This is a newer feature to Affinity 1.6. When you're using the pencil or brush tool, you now have a stabilization feature, which is the draw on the string approach. And this is very useful for people who do have shaky hands. Drawing on paper is a lot easier than drawing on the computer, so this is a way to help you to draw more accurately on the computer. The node tool is handy while the pencil, brush, or pen tool is in use. So let's say you're using the pencil, brush, or pen while you have that tool selected. You can hold one of the command keys. I do it all the time, but I forget which one unless I'm actually using it. You can hold one of the command keys, or just one of the keyboard keys, and then the node tool functionality will pop up while you have a separate tool selected. Excellent staff and system. Yes, I love the overall Affinity support and the staff. They're very determined in making corrections. I'm a member of the forum, and I've been testing the different betas. They always have a beta before the new commercial release comes out, and they're very determined. They messaged me over some issues, like, "Hey, I'm sorry you're still having this problem. Could you tell us if this works?" They're very good in corrections, and I don't know too many other industries that are as determined as they are. Very friendly and caring. They're definitely very friendly. I feel that I have a very good reputation with them, and someone even messaged me to make sure everything is still going well, and kind of checking up on me. That was the CEO who checked up on me, and I really enjoy being with Affinity just because of how friendly they are. Very decisive in customer satisfaction and the right tools. So when they release new tools, they said that they don't want to bloat their software too much. Kind of like uh, Adobe has animation, like Adobe Photoshop. It's for photo editing, so you should have it for photo editing alone. Tools like animation kind of bloats it up and makes it too confusing for newcomers who want to learn the tools, but you have too many tools. So Affinity is trying to keep everything balanced and they're trying to keep everything in moderation. And so Affinity is definitely a great company, and I think that it's much better than Adobe. They don't have all the same tools yet, and because they want to release the tools in a certain way and not just release them in any way possible. So this is why I definitely prefer Affinity over Adobe. I hope this answers a lot of questions people ask me. So there you go.